The pregame for Pitt Vanderbilt coming up.
Pittsburgh beats the. Oh my! Page goes up and over. Boom Jay, boom Jay. Talk about.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. It's all hard, ain't no fear here. You ain't giving it to all, you steer clear. Never beat, I've been down and I reappear. You got some money on the line, you better put it here. Rolling in and doing that work. Check priorities, I'm doing that first. Check's big and I'm sure that hurts. But it's checkmate, we ain't selling short, know the work. Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. Cause I be on the work.
Yo. It's your boy, Julius Page. That's highly debatable. We getting ready for this Pitt Vanderbilt game. Hold on, man. Do I got to get y'all ready? Last time I got y'all ready early. So I'm going to get you ready again. You know what I mean? Hold on. Get it poppin'. Yeah. It worked last time, so I got to stick with it until it don't work no more. You know what I mean? I got to stick with it. Let me change my camera because I got a special guest we got to take. Chopped it up with a guy who was a part of my recruiting class. Let me change my camera face to face. You know what I'm saying? Let me get right. So yeah, you know, if you let me tell it, the best recruiting class in Pitt history, 5 guys. Myself, Chevy Troutman, Torrey Morris, Mark McCarroll, Yuri Demetris. You know what I mean? That was the beginning if you let me tell it. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. I'm about to pull a magic trick on y'all. What you know about it? Yuri, what's going on, old Yuri?
Nothing much, man. Thanks for having me on your show.
No doubt, my brother. What you got going on these days?
Working, trying to coach the kids a little bit, trying to survive being a dad. So,
how is that going? How is it coaching the kids?
Oh, it's great. It's been fun. So, just getting started. We're still young, but it's, bringing back memories of when you're growing up and just getting started and learning the game and learning to play. So, I'm still competitive. I know you're still competitive. So even when you go to the game, you feel like you get that feeling back and you're like, oh, and it's, your daughter's a great player. So you got to see a lot and experience a lot. I'm just getting started. So
I was crazy though. I was crazy. Like, are you crazy or are you chill?
I mean, I'm pretty, pretty easy going, but there's times where I'm competitive, but I'm not like, it's hard for me to sit down, put it that way. But I'm not like loud. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but we're just getting started. She's only in 3rd grade, so I don't, we got a long way to go to get to what you went through and the success your daughter had and all that. So we're just brand new.
I feel you. So what you think about this Pitt team so far, my man?
They're enjoyable to watch. I mean, the line between winning and losing is so small. I don't think, you could have a great team but not know how to win, not taking a bad shot or having a good couple sequences on defense and getting stops. I mean, the line at that level is not, huge for margin of victory. I mean, in my opinion, you know what I mean? So if they learn to win, I think they got the skills and they got some height and they got some depth. So I think they could do well.
What do you think they have to improve on? Or what does learning to win really mean? Like, break that down for, somebody who just doesn't know as much about basketball. Like, what exactly do you see they need to improve on? Or what do you need to see to say that, okay, they know how to win? What's like the tell? Is it like
for the fans, I think it's just a win. But I mean, I'm from Pittsburgh, so I've been through the awful teams, the good teams, the average teams. But I mean, for us, I think learning to win was, one, trusting each other. And then, I mean, we played conservatively, but there wasn't too many shots to go around, but there weren't many bad ones that happened. So
Yeah.
when you see stuff like that happening, but more importantly on the defensive end, I mean, our effort was there. We didn't give up a lot of uncontested shots or easy layup. I mean, you just didn't see that with us. So, I mean, when the more competitive teams, I mean, the basketball is a little bit faster and not as physical these days versus when we played. But, that's stuff when I watch the games I look for.
Right. So you spoke on the fans. I'm not, I always come across as a guy who's bashing the fans all the time. I don't be bashing them. I just be wanting to do our part. Now that I'm not in between the lines and I am a fan now, I feel like the best thing I could do is to show up and not be there when they're doing well and then, talking ish or lying when they're not doing so good. You know what I'm saying? I want to just try to be as consistent as possible. What's up with that, man? Is that just a Pittsburgh thing to where it's like, yo, if you don't win, we ain't showing up. But when you start winning, we in there like swimwear. What's up with that?
I think to a point, yeah. I mean, I think people work hard and expect success, but it's not easy, It's easier, said than done. But once you kind of look back, we're 20 some years out now. We're getting old.
Yeah.
So, to be able to repeat that and continue it going, I mean, we were able to for a while, but being able to sustain that level of success isn't easy, so I could see it coming or going. I mean, when you go to the games, I mean, the game you announced, I was there, and it's just, you see a good West Virginia team, in my opinion, good Pitt team, and the stadium wasn't filled up. So I don't know. I think they expect success. If you have success, I think everyone's on board. When you don't, I think it's more of like a wait and see approach. At least for
do you think the fans got spoiled a little bit? I mean, that was a while ago. Even the DeJuan Blair teams was a minute like that. That's like 15 years ago, basically.
Yeah, I think the expectations are high. You know what I mean? We were there, and before their program was, if you look from early 80s through 90s, they had a good run, but then it fell off, and kind of we're going through the same cycle. But it's the different game, with the transfers and everything else. So having success and being able to sustain it, I don't know how that's going to look moving forward, but I think there's a lot of Pitt fans out there, and if they could have some success, I think that place will definitely fill up.
Absolutely.
Especially for ACC games, and they're on a roll now, so hopefully they can keep it rolling.
I think we gotta win these last non-conference games, going to Syracuse with only 3 losses. Hopefully knock them off. And I think that North Carolina game will remind people what the Pete used to look like when it was rocking.
Oh yeah,
that'll be 10-3. That'll be 11. That'll be 11-3. 11-3 going into the North Carolina game. I think the Peterson Event Center will be looking crazy.
I mean, it's a fantastic gym when it's loud and full like that. I mean, that. So I think the loudest I remember it is when, I don't know, maybe 2004 when we played UConn. We were above them. I think they won the national title that year.
Yep.
But I think we beat them pretty good at home that year. I remember the place shaking that game. So that was.
I don't remember. As a player, I never really paid attention to the fans. So the loudest I've seen was when they had us come back when DeJuan team was playing. I think this was like Sam Young career high. They may have been playing UConn also. And I was living in North Carolina at the time, and I couldn't really believe it. So I'm in the stands, and it was so loud. It was like, my God, it's so different being on this side, on the fan side, than it is being on the court. It was much louder to me.
Oh, yeah. It's good to see. I mean, hopefully they could eventually, get a football stadium back in some capacity. I think that would be great. But
right.
the more success they have, I think the people will come. I think that's always going to be the situation in Pittsburgh, though. I mean, I think there's a lot of fans out there, but
Right.
it's always when you're not on top, it's always an excuse not to go versus show up in Oakland, park and walk and do all that.
I understand. I'm not telling people, they don't have a right to, be disappointed, and it's your money at the end of the day. But my thing is that even when it comes to football, when they have these really good mid-major teams come into play that really are not afraid, you know what I'm saying? By us having an atmosphere that's difficult to play, when it's really loud, you know what I'm saying? That counts for something.
Oh yeah. I think sports is momentum. So I mean, when the crowd's on your side, it definitely makes you have that extra edge. I mean, it was I was at the Pitt, West Virginia football game, and that place was jumping. So that was a great experience. But you have to deal with that every week. But that's not the case right now.
Yeah. So that's all that I'll be saying. Like ultimately, we could do our part and make it a tough place to play, regardless, so that these teams can't really come in and steal one. But to change the subject a little bit, Big John, I don't want to say struggled. He didn't play much. I call anything under 20 minutes not really playing much, not for a guy of his caliber. And to be honest, I kind of have mixed feelings about the situation because I know what he's capable of doing, but anything can happen. This is a brand new year, and if he's no longer the go-to guy, that's just something that you have to accept. Do you think that this team can continue their success with his role kind of being, downgraded a little bit? Like, is that what we're seeing now, or do you think that he's going to have to come back to his regular form sooner or later?
I mean, they have more depth as far as height, in the front court. So I also don't know what kind of injury he was dealing with specifically. I don't follow it that closely to know, how hurt he was. But as far as injuries go, I mean, they're kind of, if you have a nagging one or a bad one, it can be more detrimental, I guess, to how you recover. And it probably takes some time. I mean, especially for a big guy. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I think they have enough depth this year. If they come together, they could do well regardless of, who gets the ball or who's going to show up every day, every game. That's my opinion. I don't. What are your thoughts? You would know better than me, probably. But I mean, I watch a good many of the games. I mean, I think they have enough depth to be able to, play a number of people and still compete now.
I think he's a low offensively. I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree. That's why I say I have mixed feelings about it because, ultimately they've showed that they can score the basketball really without him. And the way that Burton been playing, this is why I like the addition of Nelly, because Burton don't have to play so much point guard. You know what I'm saying? I think he's better playing the off guard where he could create. He's a good passer. He can handle it. I was feeling like, coming into the season, it was throw it into John, let them double team. He can kick out the shooters. You know what I'm saying? But it just don't seem like they have to force the issue and establish it that way anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't know if that's sustainable against the Dukes and the North Carolina and all of that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to need him.
Yeah. I mean, once you get into the season schedule, you need as much as you can now. But also, things kind of ebb and flow during the course of the season. Just like, for me, you're a shooter. Sometimes you're shooting great, and then you go, feels like you can't make anything. Or, you know what I mean? You have a couple great games, and then you have a couple games where things just didn't go your way or you didn't get the ball, So I don't know. From all our failures and what we did, I think, the best lesson learned is, like, keep working hard, So I think it'll be more on him, like, what is he doing on the gym in the off time if he's not the man, you know what I mean? Is he staying in shape, putting in that extra work, or is he getting upset? Like
being selfless, yeah.
So I mean, to me, like, that's probably to be determined.
Right.
working through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, sometimes you got to sacrifice your own attribute, your own success for team success.
Yeah,
So
for
it might
sure.
be a time, that we might have to see, if he's willing to do something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, speaking of being selfless and things of that nature, it's been 20 years since we won our first University of Pittsburgh first Big East tournament. What was your favorite memory of that year? I don't want to get too far into it because I think something is coming up. I know something is coming up where this is going to be a big thing. So I don't want to get too deep into this topic. But since I started it already, we're talking to Coach Howland and all that stuff. You tell me, what was your favorite memory of that year?
I mean, if every out of everything, I mean, just the experience through the whole year, having this success, getting to see like our team and the fans in the city be able to celebrate that. I mean, especially New York City, that was an unbelievable night and time, and that was good to have everyone get to experience that, including the fans. So that was nice.
It was a lovely time. When you speak of New York, it doesn't get much better. In the moment, man, I couldn't really appreciate it because you be so focused and locked in on just trying to play a game and win a game that you can't even really just take it in. I could never really just take it in. My mind was always like running through the plays in my head and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, it was a lot between that and the scouting reports and everything
Right.
else. Man. Trying to just keep it straight was a lot.
But afterwards, it was great. The atmosphere to walk into the hotel and all of that stuff after that, you could never forget that. It was so live, just outside Madison Square Garden and all that. It's just a different feeling, man. Even to watch the commercials, you remember being in a hotel and the other games be going on and how it was impossible for you not to be amped and ready to play for the Big East tournament, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. That was great. And speaking of commercials, since you said commercials, I'm gonna give everybody a good story because we played and practiced against each other for like 5 years.
Mhm.
Went against each other pretty much every day, right? So we're still cordial. But anyway, I forget who we were playing. Coach Allen was still there. We were playing a team, not a great team. I can't remember who it was. But then they switched to a zone. Probably last 4 minutes, under the 4-minute timeout. So something happened. We got a side out of bounds with 20 seconds left in the half. And I'm not sure if you remember this or not, but Coach Allen put me in the game because we were going to run the back pick
Mm-hmm.
for the lob to you.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was in to throw the pass to you.
Okay.
Right? So, I'm thinking on the corner, I was like, man, I'm going to throw this thing way up there and see if he can go get it, right? So we ran the play. I got the ball. I threw it up top of the box, top of the backboard. And you got up, slammed it on alley-oop.
Really?
Yeah, alley-oop. It was on Fox. I think Fox Sports was it at the time. But anyway, I was like, man, walking in the halftime, I was like, man, you got that with ease. That was no problem. And you were just like, yeah, good pass, baseball.
Yo, listen, I'm gonna be sore in the morning just from that story. I'm gonna be sore. I can't jump like that no more. But back in the day, it used to be. You was a passer though. People don't know that you could pass that thing.
Yeah.
An underrated part of your game. Very smart. I hated guarding you in practice because you would make me pay, and they used to think I was not playing D. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else would try to use their athletic ability against me, and that's just not really going to work. But you would set solid screens. You knew how to screen your own guy to get shots open, and it was and you could shoot, you know what I'm saying? So it was it was complicated. It wasn't the easiest thing to really do.
Yeah, I had to do something because I wasn't as athletic as you guys, that's for sure. But I tried my best.
We all got our work. So who you got tonight, man? Not take your homer, take your Pitt, sweater off. Vanderbilt is favored by 3. You think we're going to go in here and pull it off?
I think so. I mean, I know that's a tough place to play. They got that court that comes off the ground a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But, especially since they sent us Stallings, I'm hoping we go down there and give them a good pounding.
You know what? Thank you. Yes, I'm definitely with that. I forgot all about that.
So I hope we win by about 25. That'd be great.
I think we outscored them. I think we beat them by 15. They have, 3 guys that barely average 13 points a game. I see us definitely taking care of business. And I feel like Pitt plays better on the road. So if it was a home game, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. But on the road, they seem to have their stuff together.
Yeah, I hope so too. Be another good win, especially to keep it rolling going into some other league games. I mean, they're starting to have a much better resume. They look good.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you, my brother. Columbia is playing. So I got to go back in here and finish watching some of Perry's game before the Pitt game start.
I saw that. I see the Slam tweets or updates. So I'm able to kind of follow her. She's having a great season. So
I wouldn't say great now. I wouldn't say great, but she getting some run. She getting in there. She making things happen.
Which, as a freshman in college, that jump's pretty big. So that you got to give her some credit. That's pretty good.
I'm her biggest critic. So I got to keep humble her a little bit, boost her up. It's a roller coaster ride.
Oh, that's fine. I get it.
But I appreciate you, my man. Listen, stay tuned. If Pitt wins, I'm back on here to talk my talk because I have to do it. If they lose, it depends on how I feel. I could be so upset that I can't do it, or I might just want to discuss, what went wrong because a loss is a loss. It happens. But it all depends whether I'm going to return. So that's highly debatable. This is the Pitt preview. I appreciate my man Yuri. Until next time.
Have a good night, buddy.